Welcome back to Behind the Stripes podcast. I'm Mark Kenny. With me today, I have George Dixon, who many of you in Iowa may not know, but George is from South Carolina. I've known George for several years with my connection at Scholastic Duels. George, thanks for being here with us tonight. Why don't you go ahead and give us a little rundown about like maybe your career, like some experiences you have, and then we'll talk about some of the big events that you are in charge of yourself. So thanks for being here tonight, George.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, Mark. I appreciate coming into corn country and talking to the folks in Iowa. My background, I started out as a coach, high school coach for 10 years. And then in 2000, I switched over to the Stripes. In that time, I've been very blessed and was able to call I started out with the Southern Conference Championships, college down in the Southeast, and then moved to the Southern Scuffle, which I did for, I think, 14 years of the Scuffle. Had some amazing matches there with some very high-profile names, David Taylor, um, uh, Ed Ruth, some big names from obviously Penn State, but it's a great experience for me. An awesome way to learn from amazing officials and getting to see a very high level of wrestling. That was the college side. I moved up to D2 Nationals in 2013, and that was amazing. I was the first South Carolina referee to get an NCAA final.
Awesome.
I was only the second ever South Carolina official to do an NCAA championship for wrestling. So that was, pretty amazing stuff. And again, just blessed to be in the right place at the right time a lot of the trip. So on the high school side, again, I did coach. And then my high school officiating, again, a right place, right time. I had what was back then called the Senior Nationals. It wasn't NHSE High School Nationals at that point. It was still just the top two from each state. And I was lucky enough. I was going up with one of my mentors, Dino White, and I went up with Dino or was going up with Dino, and he had an issue, emergency at home, and he wasn't able to go. He called the Ferraros at the NHSEA and said, "Hey, look, I got a guy who can do the job." So he gave him my name. I stepped in, did a good enough job. I got a final my first year there. And then for the next 14, 15 years, I had finals every year. I then moved up into an admin role with them. So I stepped back from the whistle. And now I'm the coordinator of officials, the assistant director behind Dino, whatever you want to call it. And so I've been blessed there. And then there's that little tournament called the Super 32.
Yeah.
It's kind of the granddaddy now because it's such a tough tournament. We've been lucky to grab guys, officials wise, from all over the country, from the West Coast, Tony Guerrero to Hal Tuck up in Washington State, going across to Dan Hanley up in the Northeast, Bob Woods and Carmen Del Vecchio in Connecticut, down to fellows in Florida with Zach Catalina, Doug Howard, Bob Whitaker, a mainstay around the wrestling world for a long, long time. And, and then I bring in some Midwest guys, Zach Knoll out of Utah and, some of those guys out that way. But just been really blessed in my opportunities to call wrestling. I have directed my later career toward administration, evaluation, and now, working clinics, which this weekend was full of. I went from South Carolina up to almost to Ohio in Louisville, Kentucky, Bellarmine University, and did a clinic for referees for the KWOA. Andrew Dennison and his wife Kristen out of Kentucky invited me up to do that. And then I kind of found out that I also was going to do a session for the coaches and the officials, which was a stalling presentation. And so, we help those coaches to learn kind of what we're thinking on where the stalling is coming from and what those keys are that we're looking for. And came back home. That was Saturday. Came back home to South Carolina. Did our clinic, a state clinic for our officials today, and hustled back to get here and hang out with you a little bit.
Well, I appreciate you, George. I know you're a busy guy, and so I felt pretty fortunate to get a chance to get you on the horn. And I know you're one of those resources I can always call any time of day, talk about rules, and you and I share stories back and forth, and maybe even a dad joke or two now and then sent back and forth to us. So, talking about Super 32, I was fortunate enough to work that event in 2019. I enjoy that time. So let's talk about 32s. How do wrestlers qualify to compete at the 32s? Let's first talk about the wrestling side of things.
The wrestlers, there are about 17, 1800 now. They've expanded a little bit with that number. I think when you did it, we were down around 13 or 1400 maybe still.
Sounds about right.
Um, yeah, and there are 10, 12 maybe qualifying tournaments around the country, Super 32 qualifiers that are hosted by high schools from California up to the Midwest, over to PA and down to Florida. Their top four kids that qualify at each of those events has the opportunity to register early. They don't get much more than that, but with the way that traditionally the Super 32 sells out, you literally have about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes to have all of your info in, put your finger on the button, and at 7:01, hit the button and see if you're lucky enough to get in before it goes through. Because it does close down quickly. They do Super 32. They do an auction with money going to charities, and they will auction off 2 or 3 spots for folks that are trying to get in, but maybe didn't get in on time. They also save a certain amount of spots for nationally ranked kids that maybe they need to be there for the quality of the tournament, and they didn't get in, or for whatever reason they missed it deadline or whatever. So they give that opportunity to nationally ranked kids, and then you wind up with situations like the finals this year, where there were at least a couple of finals that had both wrestlers that were world medalists. So good wrestling.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so so talk about how long have girls been competing at Super 32, and how has that changed your demands as far as finding officials for that event?
The girls have been going probably 4 years now. I think it came in right after COVID, so maybe 21, so about 4 years. It started out on maybe 4 mats, and now it's up to 8, or I think 8 mats now. So the girls, the wrestling is through the roof. How it's affected the officials, we have our folk style group for the boys, which Saturday is just varsity boys. And then on Sunday, we have 15 mats for the varsity boys, and that's they wrestle up to the quarters on Saturday. So Sunday morning starts out with the quarterfinals, then the semis. They throw in some consi rounds, and then around 2:30 or so, they usually take off with the finals. The girls are on the same floor in the front room, if you will, with the mats that have the boys on them, and they're using 3-on-1 mechanics for freestyle. And we've had some very high level officials that have worked that, including Sammy Julian and Susanna Silstad, two of the three Americans that worked in Paris at the Olympics.
That's awesome.
So very cool, right? It's,
Yeah.
it's high level, and for Susanna to come in and work that as a female, and we have other females as well, but she is such a high profile person for the girls to look up to, and for them to come in and get to see her there. And having seen her at the Olympics officiating, not only girls, but men's freestyle and Greco as well. So amazing stuff. And then in the back room, on the mats in the back, excuse me, those mats are elementary and middle school. And as you know, the technique of these kids, the gas tanks on these kids,
Crazy.
it's crazy and way better. And I'm not going to pick on my state too much, but Georgia, South Carolina, those elementary and middle school kids have better technique a lot of times than what we see in the high school matches during the week, in Georgia and South Carolina.
Absolutely. And I know one of the cool experiences for me when I was there was we're upstairs in the food room, and then the glass opens up and you're looking down on the mat, and there's college coaches there, some big names there that are recruiting. And it's just a cool thing to see, to be part of an event where you have such great talent on the floor. And then you get out there and you're like, well, wait a second. It's just 6 minute match. It's no different, right? And essentially, you just got to hold your calls, be patient, and work it like a normal meet. But it's just really cool. So speaking of those big calls, I know one of the things that I really enjoyed is the concept of the review process. And many of our listeners maybe don't know how that review process works. So could you walk us through how that works as far as, let's say there's a call, bang, bang call, the coach calls three, takedown, and maybe they want to question that. How does that process work?
Well, for the Super 32, it only comes into play for the semis and the finals. And Virginia Beach at high school nationals, now not senior nationals anymore, it starts from the first match.
Yep.
And they have an opportunity to challenge anything except a fall. So something, a takedown, reversal, near fall, something that happened right at the end of a period. All of those things can be challenged. So the process in Greensboro, North Carolina, for the Super 32, we traditionally, that tournament runs near Halloween. So we had, instead of a brick that you throw in, we have little witches, and the witch has on a green tie around her neck, or an orange one. So it's green or red, for that respective corner and that coach. So this, a week ago at the Super 32, we had two semifinals reviews, and we had, I think, three or four in the finals. One of the calls in semis was a locked hand situation. And the coaches, it was, a close match. So locked hands makes a difference in the match. And they were really kind of grasping at the straws and trying to get a call. But hey, you got it. Why not take the opportunity?
Might as well.
And it was not even close. That call was confirmed for the officials. It was not a locked hands. On the other end, that was on mat 1. Then on mat 5, the other end, there was a takedown call. All right. So this one got tricky because the takedown was awarded. The coach was challenging whether that should have happened or not. He didn't think it should have been a takedown, and that the action continued, and his kid, instead of getting a reversal, should have gotten the takedown. Well, everything that happens and this is, let me back up on this a second. Our video review process is the old college NCAA, right? So you got to tell me, coach, specifically, what is it that you're challenging? And if the call is overturned, all points, everything that happened from that point didn't happen. There was no scoring. We reset the clock at whatever the time was. We award the overturned points to the respective wrestler, and then nothing else happened. So I go over and I explain this to the coach, because it was continuous action and other points had been scored. And you have to do your review in a timely manner, which means 15 to 20 seconds, maybe. You can't wait a minute, 2 minutes,
Right.
whatever. And now I'm going to throw the brick. It's too late. Too many things have happened. You can't use it in that way. So I explained to him, look, now, other things happen. If this call goes your way, the way that you're asking, all the points after that will be gone, which means your reversal that you got also will be gone.
Absolutely.
It'll become a takedown, but you're going to lose your reversal. So I go over, I review, and sure enough, it's an overturned call. It was not control for, I don't know, red wrestler, and it should have been green. So then he comes up, whoa, what about all the other points? Coach, as I explained, those points are now gone.
I apologize for some technical difficulties. Let's keep going. So I'm going to skip a question here and let's get to the one that I really want to talk to you about. So most people know Bo Bissett and all his accolades, and my buddy Zach happened to be lucky enough to call that fourth match. And so Bo Bissett won his fourth title, Super 32, which is awesome. He's a stud. He's going to be successful no matter where he goes. But most people don't know about this little lady from Maryland. Could you talk about our other four-time champ?
Well, and that's technically she was the first ever
Yeah.
four-time Super 32 champion. She has also done all the work. Obviously, Bo is a little more well known. Everyone, he's got his different things that he does for likes, out in the world of media, right? But she also gets the work done. She's just not quite so high profile in social media as Bo is, right? But in the same respect that the kids, the boys, look up to Bo, and they were around the arena
Oh, yeah.
chanting and cheering for Bo. She had her folks, the girls were around her mat, cheering. So it's an amazing, I say statistic, but to have two four-time champs at the Super 32 when there'd never been any, and we get two in the same year, it's just it's an amazing situation.
Now, is it Tayana? Is that how, did I say her name
Yeah,
right?
Tiana. Yeah,
Tayana
Tiana is
Hernandez.
correct pronunciation. Yeah.
Do you know, so we know Bo has Bo finalized where he's going? Do we know where Tayana's going to go? I mean, you got two studs on the male and female side there that are just huge draws. I'm sure NIL deals are just flying at him right now.
Well, I think they both are going to have opportunities. The last news on Bo was that he was going to Virginia Tech with Miller. They both were going that
Yeah.
way. So that the rumor, and I'm going to say that as a rumor that was floating around for his NIL deal, which I don't know if it's accurate or not. Again, it's a rumor, was 2.5 mil to go to Virginia Tech.
Yeah, it's just dollars. Yeah, it's just a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's just money, right? Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, aside from the technical difficulties, I always enjoy catching up with you, George, and talking to you, talking shop. And, I've always appreciated your friendship. I've known you for probably 7, 8 years now. I know you're on my first team when I was at the former Disney duels, now Scholastic duels, and you're just a good guy. And, one of the things I'm going to talk to my buddy Zach a little bit later in his podcast is just that networking and how it just, it's a fraternity of officials across the country that we can call at any point in time. And so I just have always appreciated your willingness to talk and support and just mentor me throughout the years. So,
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, you know me, very open to trying to share and mentor as best I can. Again, I've been very blessed with the opportunities that I've had. Um, I'm not really trying to compete with other officials anymore in the regard of, I got to do a final, put me on the final. I've done finals. I've done finals at the Beast and Reno and Disney and the Southern Scuffle and the SoCon Championships and the D2 Nationals. I've done finals and I've been there and I know what it's like. And I'm more than happy to help to mentor and bring others along,